So, the recent Nintendo Partner Showcase went and gave us a good look at a lot of different games. Some were new, some were old, some were good, and some were old, but among those titles was one that really caught my eye, and that was NBA Bounce. But clearly Nintendo doesn't give a fuck about it because they only gave it like 10 seconds of screen time. In all seriousness though, the event ended with the announcement of two Square Enix projects, the final one being Octopath Traveler 0, and the other being the topic of today's video, The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. Alongside the announcement, they also released a small debut demo for us to play. So, I decided to play the entire thing, collected everything I could, and I have a lot of thoughts. The Adventures of Elliot is set in the mythical land of Bildia, a land that's dominated by warring clans of monsters called beast tribes. Luckily, there's still a small town that's used for refuge for humans known as Huncarea. Huncarea is protected by a magical barrier that's constructed by Princess Huncarea, and that helps keep the humans away from the beast tribes. With that being said, the demo starts out with the king discussing new ruins that have been discovered. This is when Eugene suggests leaving the exploring to his good old friend, the brave adventurer himself, Elliot. And in terms of plot for the demo, that's about it. The character designs here are really nice. I especially love Elliot's design here, he just looks so cool. The voice acting is also equally as good. The demo offers two languages for you to choose from, so for my first playthrough I chose to play in Japanese. The cast is really well voiced here. I really like some of the choices too, like Takehito Koyasu, the voice actor of Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Olivier from the Trail series as the king.
わかった。余が直々に話をしてみよう。冒険家エリオットを呼び出せ。
As for my second playthrough, I played that fully in English, and that is also equally as good. I do think some of the delivery is kind of stiff, especially from the king and princess, but Elliot and V's voices are absolutely amazing here. Philip Reach, who's known for voicing Giorno, absolutely kills it as Elliot. I honestly really love his performance.
It is an honor to meet you, Your Majesty. I am Elliot. But of course, Your Majesty.
This will be a dangerous task. Please be careful.
I appreciate your concern, Princess Huncarea. But you needn't worry. Facing danger is what adventurers do.
Best of luck.
That will be all, Elliot. The kingdom is counting on you to accomplish this mission.
Your Majesty.
Alright, now it's time for the real meat and potatoes. The gameplay of Adventures of Elliot feels pretty close to your typical 2D Zelda game. You have your sword attack, which you can charge, bows, bombs, all the typical items you'd expect to find here. However, the thing that makes it really unique and makes this game really shine is through these things called Magicite gems that you can equip. For a brief rundown, this game has two currencies, one of which you can purchase things from shops like potions, accessories, or you can even resurrect yourself after you die. And the other currency is called Magicite fragments, which you can use to gain Magicite gems. Now, you can either use this weird gacha system to roll for random gems, or you can find them around chests in the map. And these gems are where I think the gameplay really opens up for this game. Some gems can be simple, like increasing your attack power or the range of your attacks, but some are insanely unique, like this one that makes it so that your arrows can ricochet when hitting enemies to attack another enemy. This takes a somewhat simple ranged weapon into a new effective way of cleaning out rooms of enemies. This sort of variety in the gems really spices the gameplay up, and it leads to a huge well of player expression and creativity. It still has that sort of rigid structure of a traditional Zelda game, but now there's the freedom for you to completely play in these unique and different ways to fit your playstyle, and that, I think, is the biggest strength of Adventures of Elliot. Adding to this, there's also a few unlockable items in the demo, one being a stronger variation of your sword, which allows you to do an extra charge attack, and the other being a grappling hook type weapon that allows you to pull enemies close to you or attack them in an arc. Then we finally have Fee, your fairy companion who can assist you throughout the game. Usually companions like this are nothing more than walking tutorials to help the player if they get stuck during their adventures, but in the Adventures of Elliot, Fee is extremely useful and actually adds a lot to the overall gameplay. In the game, you're able to control Fee and Elliot simultaneously, or command her to prioritize certain ways of playing. If you have her follow in front of you, she'll attack enemies for a small chunk of their health. This is useful when you want to get the jump on enemies, and it can help you avoid taking damage. You can also get rid of Fee if you don't like her, but I mean, like, why would you do that, man? That's mean. Anyway, where she really shines is her abilities that Elliot can use. There's two available in the demo. One being a dash ability that allows you to traverse the map insanely quickly, and the other is a teleport that teleports Elliot to Fee's position. While playing the game, I found myself using this dash ability constantly. It's really fun to use and handles really well. As for the teleporting ability, I at first thought that this would be extremely situational, but you can actually use it to skip certain parts of the game. Take this for example. To solve this puzzle, you're supposed to go all the way around, flip a switch, and then come back. Or, you could just use the teleport function and skip this section entirely. Some people might call this lazy game design or a blatant oversight, and while yes, it's an oversight, I actually like how it doesn't limit the player's creativity and it instead rewards them for utilizing all the mechanics at their disposal. So now we move on to talking about the world itself. What exactly is there to do in this demo? Well, the demo has multiple small shrines located around the map that help teach you some different mechanics. Some of my favorites here was the huge gauntlet where you fight waves of enemies, and this speed trial that teaches you Fee's speed ability. These are pretty short and to the point, but they give you pretty good rewards and they help players get used to the mechanics of the game. Adding on to this, you have all the usual secrets, caves, and towns that you'd expect from these type of games, as well as 2 dungeons for you to completely explore and play through. And these dungeons are fun. I will say, you don't have as many puzzles as your typical Zelda game, and they definitely have room for improvement, but overall I had a lot of fun playing through these. And the thing that I love the most about them is the bosses. The 2 you get to fight are both super unique, and at least for the first boss, I love how there are so many different ways you can go about defeating it. You could place bombs ahead of where it'll be, throw their bombs back at them, or you could use the parry mechanic at the exact right moment to bounce the rockets they shoot back at them. Then once the barrier is broken, it's all up to you to lay it into them. Alright, so before we wrap up, I want to give my overall thoughts on the demo as a whole, and where I think this game is headed. As of right now, I do think that this game overall is an amazing package, but I do have some small gripes with it in certain parts. So let's get into that. First of all, while the gacha system for collecting the different gems seems fun at a first glance, I'm already getting Xenoblade 2 flashbacks with this one. If they actually hide any decent gems behind this, then I feel like it's gonna completely ruin the game for some people. It's not like game ending or anything, but I just think people would far prefer if they had the ability to choose any gem that they're missing and you just have them at different prices. It just makes it a lot easier for people who are maybe going for certain builds and for completionists. And I know people will complain saying that it's only affecting a small group of people who even want to interact with this part of the game in the first place, but so far this game has proven just how much it embraces player expression, so why allow it in some forms but not others? I think just turning this shop into a simple shop where you buy gems is so much better than this random gacha thing that they're putting in here for no reason. Next up, this is also a bit of a nitpick, but I feel like the writing for a lot of the NPCs in this world are really bland. Sure, they'll give you advice or hints towards secrets around the map, but the way they talk doesn't feel like real characters, and it's just more like the developers saying, "Hey, you can find this item here." I feel like just giving the different NPCs some more personality or making their dialogue sound more human would just be a big help in bringing the game to life. Now, the biggest criticism I've seen for this game online is people discussing the art style, and more so whether or not the HD 2D look is getting tiring, or if maybe it was never even good to begin with. And while this is definitely part of a bigger discussion, I do believe it's a criticism worth considering. I mean, here's a bunch of different HD pixel art RPGs that have been released. Out of all of these, can you really confidently point out to me which one is the Adventures of Elliot? Oh, damn, okay, sorry, damn, I didn't know. Realistically, I doubt this is something that will be addressed, or even change, since the game seems to be pretty decently through its production right now. But I do believe that a good chunk of this criticism simply just comes from the fact that they decided to show 2 of these games back to back at the Direct. Talking from my own personal opinion, I do agree that I overall dislike this art style. I believe it can look really good in certain games, and I think it's a big reason as to why Octopath felt so unique when it came out. But with there now being over 10 different titles that all use this exact same style, it's beginning to lose its appeal. I believe that this game does look great, and regardless, I don't think that the art style is a big pull for the game in the first place, but a part of me really does wish that this game had a more unique art style to help it stand out amongst the other Square Enix titles, especially since this gameplay is already setting itself apart massively from the other HD 2D games. But, wrapping up all my thoughts here, I believe that The Adventures of Elliot has the potential to be one of the best games in its genre. I think the gameplay is extremely smooth and fun, the character designs are amazing, and it really does bring back the feelings of playing those old RPG adventure games on the SNES. It has a lot to offer in terms of its customization, and I really hope that this angle is what the developers really lean into, since I can see this game being extremely fun on replays. If you have a Switch 2, you owe it to yourself to download the demo and give it a try today. And for those who don't, I hope you'll keep tabs on this game just like I am. I'm incredibly excited to see where this game heads, and I am eagerly awaiting the full release. But hey, let me know what you guys think about the demo down below, and thanks for making it this far. These videos take a lot of time and effort, so giving me a like and subscribing would mean a lot to me. That being said, thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.